Okay, we will go ahead and get started. It's a couple minutes after 1. Thanks guys for joining in for the November training session. We're going to cover just some ways to help you guys keep yourselves organized as far as the reports and everything that you guys are pulling on a daily basis. So we're going to show you guys how to create shortcuts basically, so that the popular searches that you're doing in Epic, they'll be available to you a little bit quicker. So before we dive into the actual training itself, I just want to do a bit of an introduction to Range. Range has joined the Epic support team. He was a part of the Epic support team way back when, actually when we rolled out the system. So he's joined us just a couple of weeks ago. He started with us and he's already digging into the training portion of Epic. So he's put together the training guide that we're going to go through today, and he's actually going to take us through the training as well. So just want to say welcome, Range, and happy to have you. But before I turn it over to him, I want to go through a couple of updates too, just with regards to some issues that we saw over the last couple of days, and then also an update as far as a change that's taken place in Epic. So the first thing that we'll go through is the error that you guys were all seeing. It wasn't consistent. It was happening just kind of randomly and only in certain places in Epic. But the internal server error that you guys were seeing has been resolved, so you guys should not see the internal server error any longer. If you do, for whatever reason, first thing, please try and restart your machine and then see if you're still seeing the problem. But since they have fixed the file that they had updated in the system, we haven't had any reports of anyone seeing the internal server error again. But if you guys do, please let us know. So the other thing that we're going to go through really quickly, let me open this up a little bit. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Actually, let me just zoom in on the document itself. Okay, here we go. All right, so those of you that have gone in and you've done some change of status updates for employees, specifically terminating an employee in Epic, you'll notice that there is a change. So before, a couple of days ago, you were only able to select one reason for termination. You are now able to select multiple reasons. So whatever is applicable, you can check off anything that applies for the change of status for the termination for an employee. So I'm going to turn it over to Range, but before I do so, I just wanted to say a quick reminder to everyone with regards to the training and the KPIs. And this is because there was a question that came up yesterday on the manager's call with regards to the KPIs for Epic training. So the Epic training KPI, we gather those numbers based on who has taken the validation test after the training and who has passed the validation test. So just as a reminder, in addition to going through the training, watching the video, taking a look at the training guide that we've put together, you guys are required to go in and take that validation test. It's typically 5 or 6 questions, all multiple choice. So once we're done today, once the training is finished up, go ahead and go to the training section, or sorry, the testing section in Epic and take that validation test, because that's how we're going to count you in your numbers for your site for the Epic training KPI. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Range. Hopefully he's able to share his screen.
I will try to. Hello, everybody. All right, I think everybody can see my screen right now, right?
Yes, bingo. Awesome.
All right, awesome. So I'll keep it short and sweet, tackling as much as I can here, because there's a couple of things that are really cool that I want to share with you guys. So for starters, obviously, in terms of operation and daily operations, we know that you guys, there's a couple of reports that you would like to run on a daily basis, whether it's the beginning of the shift or the end of the shift. most likely at the beginning of the shift, which is, for example, POs and where we're standing with them, work authorizations and where we're standing with them. You don't want to run into the surprise of people not being able to scan in and all that stuff. So a couple of reports that I would like to just review with you guys. The starting one is the purchase order. Obviously, we want to know how that is standing with our projects and our locations. So I'm going to just go ahead and pull up Epic and go to our operations. Actually, sorry, I'll go to our internal. And I'll go to our PO escalation report. In our PO escalation, if I remember correctly, 3-4 years ago when I was here, you would put in your search criteria to find your sites. Nowadays, obviously, it's a lot easier. You just jump to your site, pull up your location, and you get a report that will showcase basically every active project that has a remaining PO of 25% or less. And this is basically a heads up, like you're running short on your money, all that stuff. Now, I'm going to kind of back and forth on this. If this is a report that you use on a daily basis, I would highly recommend you guys to add it to your favorites, into your bookmarks. And all browsers are pretty much the same. 9 out of 10, you go to the address bar and there's a little star. If you click that little star, it will ask you if you want to rename it or leave the thing as is or the website as is, and choose a folder that we'll go into. So in this particular case, I'm just going to do a workbook summary. And for the folder, I'm going to actually create a folder for this. So I'm going to choose another folder. And in my bookmark bar, I'm going to create a new folder called Daily Reports. Oops. I'm going to save that. You'll notice that now I have a Daily Reports folder added to my bookmark bar. And that one website, my workbook summary, is now placed in there. If you guys don't see this, by the way, this bookmark bar, you can always go to your setting, you go to your bookmarks and show your bookmark. And this is probably the same steps you would take on Firefox or Internet Explorer. So now that we have that one, another report that I'm sure a lot of you would look at is the workbooks that are pending suspensions. So we're just going to jump right to that from here. Same thing, we'll jump to our locations. For example, in my case, I'll go to Dundee, and good news, I don't have anything pending right now, so that's a really good thing. Same thing we did with the previous report. This report is on a day-to-day basis, so you don't have to worry about inserting dates or anything. So it's a dynamic link basically. So what I'm going to do the same thing is I'm going to go up to this bookmark. I'm going to add it to my daily reports, and I'm going to add. Click done, and now I should have 2 links there. Because I'm going through all my daily reports that I think will be useful for me to know at the beginning of every shift. And I'm going through those reports. I'm pulling my site-specific reports, and I'm just going based off of the Dundee engine plant right now. So all the reports I'm pulling is for the Dundee engine plant. So this last one I just pulled is my internal report and the pending overrides. So I'm going to add that as well. So this is pending overrides. I'll click done. So once again, it just goes up. I just keep adding and adding to those reports. Now, I could also add other reports. Obviously, it doesn't have to just be my internal ones. It can be my operation, for example, my timesheet sign-ins for the day. If I need to add my op summary or whatever. So Dundee engine plant, oops. For the Dundee engine plant, and I can, for this one, I'm going to do yesterday. So I want to know what happened yesterday, for example. So yesterday to yesterday. I'm going to leave my shift open. If I specify the shift, it will show me that particular shift, but I'm going to leave it open, and that's going to show me everything. If I click go, this is basically going to break it down. My day shift, what were the hours, what were the total hours worked, and then my afternoon shift, same thing, every project with their hours and their total, and then obviously the full total. So I'm going to add this as well. to my daily reports. So this is my TS report.
5 or 6, I don't remember how many I made exactly, but
to my daily report, and done. And now I should have a good 4 reports. And once again, we can keep on adding to this as needed. Now, the cool thing about this is, let's say you come back tomorrow and you want to start opening up all these reports. Now, one way to do it, obviously, is pulling them one by one or clicking them one by one. But the cool feature about most of these browsers is, if I go on this report right now, or this folder in my bookmark bar, if I right-click it and I simply say click or open all 4, when I click that, every report for my site specific will be open for me. So it's a nice feature to just speed up the process and pulling up 4, 5, 6 reports, whatever it is, instead of navigating around Epic and trying to pull these individually. Does anybody have questions about setting up these and pulling these reports, setting them up as bookmarks?
Terminate an employee by using this.
No?
Here.
Okay. So we only got, what, like 15 minutes left? Sorry. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you guys in terms of what we can do on our systems here, and this goes beyond Epic. Obviously, I want to really talk about the snipping tool, the screen grabbing tool that all of you have pretty much used, especially for reporting to Epic support team, which is great. And I've noticed that some of you know some of the features and some of you don't, but I thought, well, let me just share what I know, and maybe that will you guys will find it handy. So if I go to my snipping tool, for example, and I'll bring it up. There are different modes, by the way, to take a screenshot. For example, where it says mode right now, there's actually 4 different modes. Freeform is a cool tool because you can actually select a certain area free-handedly. So if I click that, you'll notice, if you're seeing my screen, if I just simply go around that circle, it only grabbed that very specific area. If I go to my rectangular snip, it will change it again, and then I can go for my window snip. So that was one thing that I thought maybe will come in handy. Another thing is delay, which is basically, hey, I want you to wait 5 seconds before you grab that screenshot from me. So the other cool feature that I wanted to actually share with you guys is, if we take a screenshot, for example, I don't care, we take a screenshot of this and you want to highlight it, which pretty much everybody's familiar with at this point. But I noticed that some of you may have not known about that you can actually email this directly from here, instead of copying, pasting, going into your Outlook, opening up a new screen, and all that stuff. So just to save you on that a little bit, if you go over here where it says send snip, or you can go email recipient as an attachment. So it's basically going to put that screenshot as an attachment rather than a drop in the email. But if I click that, give it a couple of seconds, but what it's going to do, it's going to pull up Outlook, and it's already dropped in there for me, and all I have to do is put in the Epic support team, and it's pretty much set for me. So it might just save you 5-6 seconds, but over a long day, I'm sure everybody's looking for shortcuts for this. I thought this would come in handy to share with you guys. And the last thing that I want to share with you guys about the snipping tool is the actual options for the tool. So if we go to the snipping tool options, you might have this checked by default, but if it's not, it's a good idea to check it, where it says always copy snips to the clipboard, meaning as soon as you take a snipping of a screen, that is already sitting in your clipboard. For example, you can go anywhere and hit Command V, and it's already there and it's going to drop it in. So you don't necessarily have to go and click copy over here because it's already sitting there for me. Cool. All right. Cool. Shauna, I'm not sure anything else I can share that I missed here.
No, I think we're good. Does anybody have any questions with regards to what we just went through? Okay. Okay, so the goal
We
really,
have all this. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no, I was just going to say the goal really in showing you guys how to do this was again to help you become more efficient. If you guys are pulling reports and even like a timesheet search, so at the end of your shift, you're responsible for going through and reconciling all of your site's timesheets and then approving them. It's a good thing to just go ahead and set up a shortcut in your bookmarks so that you guys can just launch that timesheet report automatically. So it's just saving you guys some time, and we just wanted to make sure that you guys do know all of the tools that are available to you. You know, this wasn't just a specific Epic training, but how to use Epic and how to do it efficiently. So we're going to post the training guide right next to the actual test in Epic. So I'll go ahead and share my screen again really quickly so you can see exactly where I'm talking about, just in case. So if I am in Epic and I go to the employee menu and I click on take a test, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and that's where the validation tests are sitting. So as soon as we're done with today's training, we will activate the validation test for this month, and then you'll be able to click on this view button, which will open up the training document that we're going to put in there. So just to let you guys know that it will be there, and then we'll send it off to Kathy as well and ask for her to post it in SharePoint. So do you guys have any questions? Not necessarily on the training today, but anything else that we can help you guys out with? Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and say the reminder again, just in case people joined in late. The KPIs for your sites are based on who has taken and passed the validation test. So just being a part of today's training or watching the video after it's posted is not all that we're looking for, and that's not how we're counting numbers for your site's KPIs. It's actually you guys going in here and taking this 5 or 6 question validation test. So just a reminder to go in there as soon as we're done, and we'll get you counted in as soon as you take that and pass it. Okay, well, thanks everyone. We'll go ahead and stop there, but have a great rest of your Friday and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
bye-bye.
You too.